So how we started this, our job was just to be a pretty face.
I didn't have anything to do with any of this, so. Strike dude.
Yeah.
Strike dude. It's like
I'm just
all I
talking.
could go to was Merry Christmas. The shitter was full. You're recording this whole mess? I should just sit on your knees. We need your help. Action.
I'm John.
And I'm John.
And together we are
The Stride Guys.
Our podcast is here to help companies in the architects, engineers, construction, and home services industries get tools, tips, and tricks to help them improve their revenue and grow their business.
In today's episode, we're going to review the Jobber CRM, and we're going to discuss how AI is affecting the landscape of your industry.
So to kick things off, we're kind of transition here quick to talk about Jobber CRM. For those that aren't familiar what a CRM is, it's a customer relationship management. That's what it stands for. That word, I feel like, has transitioned greatly, though, over the years. Remember when CRMs kind of first came around, it was pretty much just like your database, essentially.
Yeah, it was a fancy spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's a full service. Like you can do everything from phone calls to managing customers to your website,
Send emails, track leads.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything. I feel like we need a new acronym at this point. We really want to look at Jobber CRM, which is a good tool as a whole for those people in the home services. It's ideally built for companies that are in the landscapers, something that you're providing a home service, such as a plumber or something like that, or pressure washers. But it has some pros and cons, of course. Do you want to cover some of what your thoughts are on it?
What is the definition of Jobber? Can you look that up, please? I'm just curious. Person who does casual or occasional work. All right, well, that makes sense. Yeah, Jobber pricing. Okay. So the pros are it's considered more of an entry-level system. So you're not going to spend as much time in this system as you would some of the bigger ones like a HubSpot or Salesforce. But it offers a wide array of tools that really gets anybody started as your business is growing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a good starter platform. It has a lot of those base level capabilities that you would want if you're in that, kind of getting off the ground, maybe, doing some decent amount of business. If you're doing, 100,000, a couple 100,000 a year, Jobber is definitely a good option, I think, for most people. And it does have a lot of different price points too. So it starts off pretty cost effective at that $39 a month. For most people, if you're getting a monthly plan, so you can get it even cheaper if you get the annual plan, of course. But then, kind of goes up from there, of course, depending on what your capabilities are, what you need. It can get pretty expensive, depending on how many users you have and such as well.
Yeah, that is one con with a lot of CRMs is they can get pretty pricey. They get you in the door with just enough functionality to really be able to manage your business. But as you start to grow and you start to add on all the bells and whistles, they can add up pretty big or pretty quickly. So taking a look at, everything they have to offer and finding the one that fits your business is definitely something worth spending some time to do.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, another nice thing too is like with a lot of these programs, they do like make things easier for us, especially for like the review management or doing some type of like data analysis or just collecting customer data. It can be really helpful. One of the nice things then too is we can, as a company, you can use that to leverage into AI then of some sort. You could either ask questions against your database, or you could also provide just review management or get more reviews, which has become a big driver for sales and trust anymore. So I think that's a big benefit of CRMs as a whole for a lot of these companies.
Yeah, the one nice thing about a CRM is consistently getting the same data gives you metrics to be able to track it against each other. So, having one platform to constantly have all of your data in makes it much easier to review.
Yeah, I think too that a lot of times we have like miscommunication or lack of communication between people, like having like the field guys get the same information that somebody on the intake side took. You can see it, all there, which is nice. But I think there's a lot of times there's miscommunication that can happen if you're not using a program that kind of passes along that information very well.
I agree.
Yeah, so definitely, it's nice that it can be kind of like this command center for your whole entire business. So I think, Jobber, and I mean, there's plenty of other options out there, which we'll cover, I'm sure, throughout the podcast. But it's definitely a good option for people in the home services that are just getting started or just kind of growing their business now. So I think the only difference between Jobber and other ones is they have the job management, which I guess we could talk about to do it that way. DJ, hit the job management. Let's explore this.
But hit it
more. Yeah, actually hit it, DJ.
Oh, we were there.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah. So field operations, I think, is one of the big kind of key differentiators. In like the job management whole piece is really what I feel like separates Jobber from like you said about HubSpot or those other CRM platforms. The ability for people to send out like text messages from about being on the way, tracking like job times, I think is a really big key area that they can leverage. It makes it simple too.
So you're saying Jobber's focused on businesses that operate through jobs, whereas HubSpot, Salesforce are all sales-based CRMs, pretty sales-focused CRMs, and this is really for people who have field technicians out there doing work.
Yeah, they have a nice mobile interface as well that makes it easy for them to, like, while they're on the road, they can just kind of start like clock in, clock out, or go to the next job. That's why it's called Jobber, right?
Right.
It's because it goes for jobs.
Clever marketing.
Yeah. It's almost like they knew what they were doing. One of the other kind of cool tools they have, they have the receptionist too, which can kind of help, kind of filter out through people. DJ, can you bring up receptionists? So it's an AI call service where they can ultimately answer calls for you 24/7. So you don't have to have somebody sitting by, which is nice. This is a feature that a lot of CRMs are implementing now, but it does come, pretty cost effective versus like some place like Salesforce where they're going to charge you, a lot of money for that type of thing. So it's a kind of a cool way of staying in touch and staying active pretty much, all year round, 24/7. Can take a call on Christmas.
All I could go to was Merry Christmas. The shitter was full.
Good. I'll let you lead this one.
You're going to let me lead this one.
Yeah. Someone's got, do something here.
I am. So one of the other key things that Jobber does is collect data. It helps collect Google reviews. And, all those currently are really important because, with the current landscape of AI and customers searching for home service providers through AI, Google reviews and SEO and now AEO results are more important than ever.
The reviews and like the results that you can prove, I think, are becoming more and more important, obviously. Whether or not it's just for AI purposes or if it's for, just getting general trust in a company, because anybody with a pressure washer can go out and pressure wash a sidewalk. But a professional companies that come in there and do a better quality job, they're going to have different offerings. They're going to have the ability to do it in a professional way. So, kind of boosting that trust value goes both ways for AI, but also for the customer as a whole, I think.
Since you guys are both homeowners, have you guys used AI for
At my home, I use AI all the time to fix stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Or asking questions. So I think people are using it as a reference point. So the ability for you to show up during that search, that process. I was actually just fixing are trying to fix my dryer. And my fix at this point was buy a new dryer. But I, tried to look it up, like what was the issue and diagnose it. So, I did get AI results. I think in this case, it was mainly more from the manufacturer, but there is definitely going to be a lot of opportunity, I think, for companies from the SEO standpoint to show up in those results so we can be reference.
Well, I was reading the other day that something like 48% of searches are now AI driven. So, if you're not making an impact there, then your business isn't going to show up. So it's important because it's slowly taking over everything. Yeah. Much like you the other day, my computer wasn't working properly and I had to have AI walk me through fixing my computer, which is kind of funny. But.
No, it's nice that it gives you kind of like step-by-step instructions. So I think homeowners will definitely be transitioning that way versus going through like forums or trying to search through like Reddit and such like that. It's going to be a much easier tool for people to use when you're diagnosing things, which is ultimately an opportunity for especially home service people.
Yeah, especially if you're creating content. I've had AI at certain points give me links to videos to watch. So having your videos show up is a big help to giving your business credibility. But at a certain point in that process of trying to fix it themselves, if they hit that wall where they say, okay, who do I call for help? Mm-hmm. That's where you want to make sure that you are implementing tools to show up high on that list.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, in my case with the dryer, obviously the solution is just buy a new one. But it could be, if it was something else like electrical or whatever, having the next step and being part of that process of me diagnosing my issue will definitely gain trust from a consumer standpoint and ultimately can drive more traffic.
Yeah, it is nice too. I've seen AI a couple times get you to a point where they suggest you consult a professional now.
Yeah.
So, especially when it comes to electrical, they're not going to tell you necessarily to tear your breaker box apart or, something that could put you in harm's way. And again, that's where as a service provider, you want to be showing up and be a top pick for them to be calling.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't want to play with like high voltage lines. And, try to hook up the dryer vent or dryer plug.
Right.
That sounds like fun. Just possibly electrocuting yourself.
Yeah, playing with fire.
I do like playing with fire, actually. But not electrical fires.
Just right.
Normal fires.
Right.
Yeah, so we are seeing kind of along the lines of AI that we're seeing less clicks though, which is good and bad. I think from a data analytics person perspective, I definitely want to see clicks, but I think we're definitely heading that route where AI results and kind of what you said, where you're kind of gaining trust that way before you actually get a click is going to be the trend we're seeing as a whole. We're kind of transitioning away from just being a click-driven ecosystem for home services and especially those more like intricate types of sales. I think we're going to see a lot more AI usage that will drive down clicks, but ultimately gain trust.
Right. Well, I think traditionally, with a Google-based result, homeowners or customers would click on 5 or 6 different options and then gauge the websites and, do a little bit of research on the companies. I think now through what you're seeing through AI is at the end of your AI query, if they say, call company X, you are pre-qualified. So typically they'll click, I think, probably to your website or your contact information one time, and they don't get lost in doom scrolling through Google lists and trying to get past the sponsored results.
Yep.
And, so I agree. The amount of clicks we see are going down, but I think the clicks that you are getting are much more qualified than they used to be, and probably a lot more likely to convert.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have seen an increase in like conversion rates and the kind of like the trusted quality of traffic go up as the clicks go down. Because I think, pretty much exactly what you're covering there, where it's, we're seeing there's more kind of behind the scenes work that people are doing before they actually click on something to get information. Whereas before, you had no information, you just clicked on it and then your research.
Yeah.
Or now we can research and then click.
Right. Right. Well, and as a homeowner, I feel like my AI channels and I have a relationship, which sounds funny, but you build a rapport with this system, and after it's led you to success a few times, then you just sort of start taking whatever it says, a little bit for granted. But again, if it's suggesting an approach or a company or anything like that, it automatically feels like a friend telling you to trust that source.
It's fair. You would have a relationship with AI.
Yeah. Nobody else will talk to you.
I mean, it's fair.
All right. So give me the line here for controversial billable hours versus value-based billing.
The line?
Yeah. Like what is our...
What's the line we're towing?
Yeah.
I think there's value for both. Or there's benefits to both.
Yeah, well, what's considered value-based billing?
So
I know what a billable hour is, obviously.
Yeah. I was talking to a potential client of ours yesterday, and she was getting an SEO back end setup for her new website, and they were charging, I think it was $1,700 for it. But looking through the list of details of things they were going to do, they were going to write down meta descriptions as title tags, install a plugin that'll write schema, and link up their Google Search Console. That's for 15 pages. That's 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is value there for sure, because that's a necessity. But it would literally, on the billable side, it's maybe $600, $800, depending on.
Yeah, you said they were charging $600 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's good. So I think that's the difference between the two.
Fair. That is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah. I think there's probably a combination of the two somewhere that's, beneficial. I guess it goes for the home services too, what do you value, getting this thing repaired or getting it, what is a rewiring of a house cost? Is it an hourly thing, or is it what's that value?
Right. Well, I think in that particular situation, most companies are almost always going to bill by parts and labor for a job like that. Especially because there's a lot of unknowns, right? So I think value-based billing makes sense for projects that have a pretty determined scope, that's pretty predictable. I think billable hours always make sense when it's something that's exploratory. So again, when you're rewiring a house, you have no idea what you're going to run into. Walls you can't get wires through, and if you're doing value-based billing and suddenly you end up with a 5-hour delay, then you're driving your margins down.
Yeah.
Versus billing by the hours. But the problem is with the homeowner in those situations, they're signing essentially a blank check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely harder from the sales side to be this is going to cost you X amount, we think. That's always, I feel it's always an awkward conversation.
Yeah. This should take us 10 hours, but we don't know what we're going to find.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is true. I think across most industries too. We run into that in the marketing side as well with, I can revamp your website, but once I get in there, who knows how this code was written? It could be what we'd refer to as spaghetti code, which is just garbage and it's all over the place. So it definitely, varies from, if we're right on target, maybe even a little bit lower, to it could be astronomically off if you're drill into a wall and all of a sudden it just crumbles, or
find a water pipe you didn't know was there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then this becomes a huge mess, versus, what it was, what were you expecting it to be? I think on the other side, the value base, I think it kind of goes both ways to what you were saying, where we have the high end that shows more value than it's worth. Or in the sense that they're getting a huge margin, you're getting $600 an hour. But then we also have the side where it decreases everything because you are eating into your profits. So I think there is kind of a trade-off there with the value base as well, where you kind of risk it. It's same what we do with websites.
Right.
When we build websites for people, we usually give you a project price, but sometimes that project actually takes longer than it should. So then we end up eating that cost. increase.
Right. Well, then the nice thing, obviously, for the customer in that scenario is they know what their finished price is up front. And sometimes, it's a lot easier to get a sale with them knowing a final price before the project starts versus, kind of signing up for it. It should be 10 hours, but it might be, 15 or 20 because, obviously that's going to double the bill. So,
Yeah, I think that kind of goes that fine line then too of like, how do you package up things? Like, is it better for you to just do billable then, or is it better for you to kind of risk it and just make it a value-based offering that's more simple? So instead of you doing just like 10 to 15, like you just call it 13 and just call it a day and make it simple. So everyone makes it,
right.
You have the middle ground that sometimes it's going to be 10, sometimes it's going to be 15. At the end of the day, you make the same. And then they have a straight price that they have.
Right. Well, I think the line that you toe there is if you hedge your bets and bill them for 13 and make it, a project instead of billable hours, if you get done in 8, then the customer always goes, man, you guys weren't here nearly as long as you were supposed to be. Why did this cost so much?
Yeah.
We've all had those deals where you get a car fixed or something and you go in and you're like, it was only a 2-hour job. Why was it $800? Mm-hmm. But it easily, one broken bolt could have turned that into a 7-hour job.
Sure.
And then they could have been totally upside down. So, it's definitely a fine line to walk.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's definitely the kind of the downside to that value-based billing too, or versus like just a billable hours. But I think it makes things simpler, which is nice to some degree, at least from a customer standpoint. Like, what you're getting into beforehand. That like the solution costs $800.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. Then you can make your decision based off of that.
Agreed. All right. So let's have a little fun. I'm definitely more the hands-on guy than you. So I brought a tool today.
Okay.
And I want you to try and guess what it's for.
Okay.
All right. Your first clue is that it's used by a general contractor.
It's a siding removal tool.
That is a siding removal tool. Your reading skills are above all.
It literally says siding removal tool. That is the worst random tool you pick. It says it on it. Shit, I never would have got that otherwise.
Come on, DJ. I sent you a link while I was driving here.
See ya, DJ. What is that? Kind of reminds me of like a handle you use for like hanging towels.
You get 3 questions.
Oh, I get 3 questions.
And then you get 3 guesses.
What trade is it used for?
This would be used by carpenter.
Carpenter. What would their purpose for this be?
To adjust something.
To adjust something. Carpenter. Is it to like adjust, like make sure that like the poles in a chair are all the same distance?
No. That's guess number 1 and 2 questions. You got 1 question left and 2 guesses.
Yeah, you said it's for adjusting something. What are you even adjusting carpentry?
Apparently chair spindles.
I mean, that would make sense. You just like, you put the spindles in there and then they're all equal distances.
Oh, I see what you
Yeah. Like, it keeps it the same.
You're way wrong. I don't think carpenters build chairs.
Oh. What am I thinking of then?
It'd be a furniture maker. I don't know if they have a fancier name for that or not.
Yeah, I thought they were lumped into the carpenter.
Yeah, sure. They work with that. Apologize to whatever carpenters John just offended.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I offended somebody.
You give up?
No, I got one more question, right?
Yep.
What goes inside the little holes?
The thing you're adjusting.
Oh, no, shit.
Oh, I tell you when it's adjusted. You know what it is.
I'm not gonna know what this tool is still. The tool name.
I mean, it's pretty simple once you know what it adjusts.
I think what like a carpenter would build that would have like circular objects.
All right. DJ's saying you're out of time.
All right.
So this is the tool you use to adjust hinges on a door.
What?
Hinges slide down through the slot
Okay.
and the barrel, and then you can pull on or twist them to get a door aligned within a door opening, like house doors.
Yeah. Didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
I thought you just like, I've always just grabbed the door and you just like ram it in there and just let it hit.
Yeah, well, this is when you're hanging the door initially, if you need to adjust it.
It's probably also the proper way of doing it. The way I do it is just like,
Yeah, just hanging from the end of the door is probably not the right answer.
I know that was a thing. Never would have got that, dude. The two end inside was like,
Well, that's because there's different sizes.
different size.
Different
That makes sense now. Like, yeah, I definitely would have thought it was meant for like two pieces.
All right, that's it. One for me. We'll see how you do next time.
Yeah.
We need your help.
We're looking for a few people to volunteer their website to have live audits done on the air for all the millions of people to watch, which that last part is definitely a lie. But we'll review your website, give you feedback, suggestions, give you an actual breakdown of what the next steps would be, all for free. So if you're interested in having your website reviewed by us, the Stride guys, send us the email at results@mydigitalstride.com, and we'll hook you up with a free website audit.
That's all the time we have for today. We thank you guys for tuning in. Next month, we're going to do a review of Service Titan. And we will have Erin from Ace Handyman in-house and be able to talk to her about her business.
Yeah, super excited. Erin's a fantastic person, so I think it'll be really cool to get her take on everything, especially since they're Service Titan users. They're actually probably considered power users, so it'll be really good to have her insights on all the Service Titan features.
See you then.
Yep, see you then. Stride guys out.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you have your pets spayed and neutered. Stride guys out.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, this one probably doesn't count.